Welcome back. I'm John Furrier, theCUBE, here at theCUBE's NYSE Studio. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. This is the Google Cloud Partner Showcase. We're featuring the leaders in the ecosystem, are doing really cool work, changing the business models, bringing in the AI, having real results. Execution is the key for 2026. We've got two great guests. We've got Valentin Cojocaru.
Close enough.
Datatonic is the tough one. Mike Shea, that's an easy one.
Easier one.
Head of partner co-sell at Google. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
us. You guys are part of the showcase here in theCUBE. I know you got 400 partners here in New York. Talk about the partnership and what you guys are doing together.
Yeah, first of all, the partnership's really strong, I guess even by nature. So for those of you who don't know, Datatonic is a leading data and AI consulting company. We're at the bleeding edge. We've got a few principles: innovation first, state-of-the-art first, big transformational programs. We're a Google-only partner. And I like to tell this story because the partnership is kind of by nature to some extent. Our chairman, Louis, and the founder of the company, started the company in early 2010s together with Google when they sort of started penetrating the market. We were the first.
He's in the Clouderati class. He's one of the OGs.
One of the OGs.
Yeah. So talk about who you guys target for customers. Just get that out there. Who are you guys? Who are your customers?
Yeah. So the industries are telco, big industry, FSI, so insurance, finance, retail.
So you're horizontal.
Agency. We're horizontal, but we focus mainly on these 4 or 5 industries. Yeah.
Mike, talk about the Google side of this. How does that work with these guys? How's that going?
Yeah, these guys make my job incredibly easy. I don't pick favorites, but Datatonic is a fantastic partner for me to work with. The reason that they do so well with our sales teams is basically they can bring expertise around all things AI, all things data, while maintaining a very nimble culture. So we're moving very quickly, and Datatonic's able to move quickly, which is what our sales team and customers do.
You know, we were talking about, before we came on camera, and we're seeing in the industry, the year of execution. I won't say pretenders or go down that road, oh, there's an AI wrapper. There's real good code development. The AI, agentic infrastructure, AI native infrastructure is actually booming right now. MCP, a lot of tech there. Cloud native has been around for a while. You guys have that hardened over at Google. But the actions, where's the value for the customer? So I want to ask you guys how you see your customers and the velocity of the change. Where's the value being created? What are some of the use cases that you've seen work? And what are some use cases you've seen that doesn't work? And how does that relate to how Google navigates the technology for you guys?
Yeah, I see a lot of the use cases could work. It is true that in the industry overall, there's been some sort of bottlenecks in terms of generating that sort of value that companies are expecting. All use cases, the majority of the use cases will work if you follow some principles of AI strategy, if you have an AI strategy in place, if you do use case discovery really well, if you have a measurable framework for value. What's really big and important right now in 2026, I think it's a contraction back to first principles, or I'm seeing with customers where we tried some POCs, they may or may not have produced the value, but right now there's a big mandate from the top. We need to go big in agentic. We need to deliver the value, and we need to do it as quickly as possible. And honestly, my prediction is whomever will get the velocity game right will be exponentially more better off in 2026 and 2027 than those who are following sort of, let's say, random acts of digital innovation, the new shiny technology, whatever that
I want to get to the 6 principles, but first on Google side, you guys were set up for this. We've been, again, following Google Cloud since the beginning. Over the past 3 years in particular, you guys have built the stack and your engagements with the partners for this moment. And we're in a moment of consequence right now where accelerating the value in every vertical. So no one's really getting disrupted other than themselves. So they're accelerating. That seems to be the transformation. This seems to be a good fit.
100%. We are I mean, we've had the technology obviously for a long time using internally at Google, but we're certainly becoming more advanced in the way that we go to market and bring those things together. Our amazing ecosystem of partners helps us do that. And also our excitement and rigor that we're bringing to our customers, I think, around just what's changing in the industry and how we can be involved.
So Valentin, the security piece and compliance for the enterprise is a hurdle, but just other integrations become important. How has Google Cloud worked with you guys on integration? Because, I mean, Gemini is Gemini, that's Google, but you got to integrate it into the domain expertise of these use cases.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we recommend to customers is whenever you're going through this large transformational objective or program of work, you need to start with the basics. You need to have a platform, and that platform essentially will provide you with the integrations at a very low level, the connectors that you need, the security on top, and everything related to it. And then you can start putting the use cases in there. You can automate and templatize a lot of the things inside of the platform, which will give you that velocity, but it's mostly through a platform building. And Google has Gemini Enterprise, which is a fantastic platform that provides that front end sort of experience. Yeah,
I had a former CUBE host on today talking to me about the old days. Talk about OG cloud. You know, when Kubernetes came out of Google, which was part of the Google Cloud team, you saw that the OGs see the value of the cloud scale. It really orchestrated a lot of things filled in. Google was instrumental in making the KubeCon and Kubernetes community work. So I have to ask you, and your side, I'm sure your founder would have an opinion. I'd love to ask them too. What's changed the most in cloud? Going back, because you've been with Google for a long time. Right now, how would you describe where Google is today from even the beginning, but even like 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think, well, if you look at the beginning, Google Cloud was what? App Engine, then it was what? Google Cloud Storage, and then BigQuery. So it is feature rich. So if you want to drive organizational transformation from end to end, be it data, infrastructure, APIs, AI platform, you can find it all in Google right now. And I think that's the biggest change. There are tools for everything. And I think there's the sort of industry in general is moving towards this platforming where there's a lot of tools available even to business stakeholders, no longer to engineers. You no longer need to do everything custom. I think that's also a big part in driving velocity, especially in Agentic. You don't need a fleet of engineers building stuff because you have everything in Google right now.
So first principles, and the ones you mentioned, the 6 here out of here, use case discovery roadmap, enablement and adoption, security and governance, value focus, AI velocity, and agent-ready data. Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay, where do you start? Which one's one?
Number one, use case discovery. So number one and number two, ultimately what's the name of the game? Is to deliver value for an organization, right? And to deliver value really quickly. In order to do that, you need to holistically, again, stop chasing random technologies, look at your business context and portfolio, select the opportunities or the bottlenecks that you're trying to automate or augment, come up with those solutions holistically, and then prioritize them. Assign value to them, and move quickly.
Yeah, to add on to that, we're moving from a POC, proof of concept culture, to actually figuring these things out for production. I think MIT released a study that was 5% of POCs actually go to deployment and then see ROI. We need to get that number a lot higher, and I think that comes from not having AI strategy as a checkbox of, hey, we're excited to launch something. It's about really thinking about what are the long-term use cases and how do we get there.
So it's not a vanity project in the sense of, hey, the vanity is in the results, right? I mean, at the end of the day, this is what software's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, to provide productivity and value.
Yeah.
So what the people that have leaned in this year, what's the pattern that you've seen for the ones that were winning it right, or getting it right and winning?
Yeah. So first of all, this understanding of you need to go at scale and at speed. So if you do this very simple exercise, you discover 100, say, use cases in your roadmap, right? You assign a value over the course of a year, you extrapolate that for 5 years, you really quickly realize how much value you're leaving on the table.
You do discounted cash flow on that.
You discounted cash flow, absolutely.
Pulled my MBA route there, see, pulled a good one.
Exactly.
Net present value.
You realize how much money you're actually leaving on the table in 5 years if you're only sort of, let's say, deploying 10 agents as opposed to 20 agents in 1 year. And we're not talking about 7 figures, we're talking about 8 or 9 figures.
Yeah.
So I think my prediction is, again, the companies who are using levers for velocity.
So you're saying, look at this, right? Lay out the use cases, stack rank them by importance with consequences that you can quantify. So if we don't do this, here's the consequence, quantify.
Yeah. That's not enough. Obviously, you need a framework to increase the speed at which you're delivering these use cases, and that's the third more important one, the velocity at scale, right? We've got levers that we use with organizations, platform levers that standardize and templatize. Like so for example, all agents need to be deployed somewhere on a platform, right? It's usually writing code from scratch and copy pasting all the single time. That could be handled at a platform level. All agents need to be monitored. The best way to do it is a platform level. You write the code once, you reap the benefits for all of the use cases. We're also very big believers, as opposed to traditional machine learning, which is not very easily modularized, that agents can be easily modularized, right? Is this sort of like system engineering?
So machine learning is very rigid, based on use case fraud detection.
A lot of it is data. 80% data, Then you write, I'm generalizing.
Yeah.
30 lines of code to train an XGBoost model. Agents aren't like that. They're applications, right? So you can modularize a lot of that.
They're learning.
Correct, correct. So once you have the platform bit that automates the deployment and the security, you come in with the templates and the accelerators to automate actually building the agents themselves, and then you reap the benefits.
On the agents, one of the things that's come up is, okay, cross agents talking to each other, trust is one.
Yeah.
So I want to get into that, but I also want to ask, where's Google fitting into this? What are they enabling you to do that? Because, I mean, that's like the playbook.
Yeah.
So what's Google's impact? What are they doing?
Yeah. They've got a fantastic platform in Vertex AI, again, very feature rich. You talked about security, for example. Security is still one of the main drivers why companies aren't adopting Gen AI as fast as they should. The best way to do it is to find all of the risk vectors, which there are a lot in Gen AI, try to mitigate against them. There's no one size fits all, but Google Cloud has a suite, for example, of services within their platform like Cloud Armor, which is a responsible AI scanner, scans every input and output from an LLM, so you know that everything is safe. People aren't trying to jailbreak your application, not disparaging. PI obfuscation through data loss protection, natural language API. There's a lot of tools so that you don't necessarily
they have the pieces.
They've got all the pieces. You don't necessarily need to go anymore. 2023, when you're trying to put together a responsible AI platform on Google Cloud, you had to use open source tools from Hugging Face scanners. Right now, you don't have to do that.
So Google's hardened it.
Hardened
and
everything.
Scales it.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about, scale and velocity.
Scale. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about velocity. How do you see that playing out? Because it's only getting faster. The models are coming out faster. The integrations between small models, custom models, proprietary, what do you want to call it? Data is going to, a lot of data is not unlocked. I mean, a lot of public data is out there in Gemini.
Yeah.
But if I'm an enterprise customer, that data might not be in any models. It's dark data. How do you see that working in the AI equation?
So there's two things. One is, if you talk about velocity purely, and I'm talking particularly now about, let's say, regulated industries, you have to look at it from two angles. One is the process side, and the other one is the engineering side. From the process side, you've got governance, right? How do you speed up governance? You've got way too many stakeholders involved in the governance process: technical design authority, privacy boards, security boards, what have you. A lot of documents and collateral that need to be produced to say whether or not you're compliant with specific regulation. In our large FSI customers, this sort of governance process for one use case takes anywhere between 6 months to 1 year. That is a long time to deploy and reap the benefits of that specific value. If you can automate that as much as you can, even with agents now, we have some proprietary agents that do that. In terms of data, I think it's a bit of a Wild West. And I actually want to know you guys' opinions, because you probably had this conversation a million times. Before 2023, everyone was focused on data quality, how important data strategy and a good solid data foundation is to even creating an AI strategy. Garbage in, garbage out, platitudes, right? Then all of a sudden, large language models arrived, and everyone acted as if though data quality doesn't exist anymore. Look, I'm talking gibberish to Gemini and understands what I'm saying. It's a miracle, right? Meanwhile, data engineers pulling their hair out in unison. But what we didn't know at the time was that Gen AI doesn't have necessarily a problem with accuracy, but it's with consistency. And I think that's what really hurts, especially in regulated industries. If you ask an agent the same question 10 times, you'll get the same answer 9 times, and the 10th time will be different. And a lot of that is through data. Unfortunately, agents have different data requirements than traditional machine learning. You cannot
the non-deterministic nature of Gen AI.
Exactly.
And there's also memory problems, both on the contextual memory and just, well, Google solves the memory problem with that infrastructure. That's not an issue, but the agents need some work, which is why I think the production conversation is going to be big. So, well, you guys got a lot going on. What's the biggest, coolest thing you're working on this year with data and agents and Google Cloud?
We're doing a whole suite of things. I think this year is specifically going back to the scale. The majority of the enterprises that we're talking with have a backlog of 200 use cases, and they want to deliver at least half of that within 1 to 2 years. So it's all about how do you build these large platforms that could host all of these agents, and how do you move them.
So you're thinking build some foundational services with Google Cloud, and then have agility be like a low-code, no-code programming level?
Some of it, yes, but we have proprietary IP and levers and frameworks and templates so that they could deliver.
That's your business advantage.
Correct.
That's great. That's smart.
So it's all scale. This year will be all about scale, and I generally predict again that in 2 years' time, whomever wins this velocity race will be exponentially better off in terms of value.
So you guys are building. You have IP to, one, be high velocity, and work the backlog of these use cases and then be nested into the customer.
Correct. Correct.
Provide continued pride.
We can half the time it takes to deploy all of the use
You're
cases.
getting why I love them so much.
Yeah.
They get it, you know?
Mike, you got a great partner here.
I know.
I
They're the
mean,
best.
well, he's in the mix, in the arena, as they say, but also pragmatic. This is the execution.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for coming on theCUBE. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on being selected as a partner here on theCUBE. Showcase, appreciate it, enjoy the event. I'm John Furrier. This is the Google Cloud Partner Showcase where the leaders share best practices, what's happening, sharing the signal, not the noise, of course. That's going to help everyone get better. We're doing our part here on theCUBE. Thanks for watching.